A Sault Ste. Marie company that wanted to sell Lake Superior water to Asia still wants to open the tap to that market. The Nova Group wanted to take 600 million liters of water from the Great Lake, but the plan was canceled after an outcry from environmentalists and politicians in Canada and the U.S. But Nova wants Ontario's Environmental Appeal Board to overturn the cancellation. An appeal board hearing is expected within the next few months. And lots more ahead on the CBC Late Night News. Mike Wise reports in just a couple of minutes with the season premiere of the Red Green Show. But first, a quick look at the weather forecast, and the weather for this holiday weekend is supposed to be above average for this time of year.
PC the Maniac is on the loose and he's slashing prices again!
PC Mania has gazillions of computer books on every imaginable subject, with thousands and thousands of titles under $19.99. Look, all of these books are only 99 cents, and we pay the GST. Get a discount bonus card for even more savings, and an attractive free bag with every purchase. Don't get left behind. The tech revolution is happening now. Do hurry to PC Mania, where we educate you for less.
If you thought your summer was busy, wait till you see the fall TV schedule. To make the most of your viewing time, be sure to pick up the fall preview issues of TV Guide. This week, we rate, organize, and give complete reviews of all 34 new shows. And with the primetime grid, you'll clearly see what's on, when it's on, where it's on. So get enlightened. Get this week's fall preview issue of TV Guide on newsstands now.
A horrific nightmare.
It's the ticket to a new life.
We're going on a big boat.
Shipbuilding has become such an art now that a disaster is unthinkable.
I want the ship to perform to its full potential.
A compelling cast.
By the smell of it, there's ice about.
The Titanic's first voyage would be her last.
This cannot have happened.
A tragedy that grips the imagination. Titanic Part 1, Sunday at 8.
SeaWorld Adventure Parks and Blinds to Go want you to experience the adventure of a lifetime in Orlando, Florida. Win an exciting trip for four, courtesy of Signature Vacations. Trip includes airfare, hotel, tickets to SeaWorld, and a special behind-the-scenes tour of the park. Discover the all-new one-of-a-kind water coaster ride, Journey to Atlantis. Go nose-to-nose with your favorite marine animals only at SeaWorld Orlando. Pick up your ballot today at any Blinds to Go location. Call 1-800-BLIND-7 for the location nearest you.
Mike Wise joins me now with entertainment, and Mike, I guess you didn't have to go far to find this story tonight.
No, actually, I traveled all the way to Possum Lodge tonight, Ron, which, if you're a fan of the Red Green Show, you know that's where it is set, and actually I hate to ruin it for fans of the show, but Possum Lodge is actually located in Studio 41 on the 10th floor of the broadcast center, almost right above me right now. Tonight was the first night of taping for its 8th full season, which is actually its first full season right across the entire CBC network.
3, 2.
It's the Red Green Show.
There's no plaid shirts or suspenders at first, as the cast goes through a final walkthrough of this episode before the audience arrives. And when it finally does, it contains some die-hard Red Green fans, some coming from as far away as Edmonton or Columbus, Ohio, to see a side of Red and Harold Green they just don't see on TV.
It's the Possum Lodge word game, and today joining me Uncle Red is Mr. Dalton Humphrey of the Humphreys.
It's a program that, for whatever reason, has always seemed to connect with somebody, you know, and it's like we have no casual viewers. They hate us or tape us.
Now, Harold, don't you be teasing an old man getting his hopes up. I already went through that with Viagra.
Besides the CBC, the Red Green Show airs on more than 80 PBS stations in the U.S., where Steve Smith helps out with their fundraising efforts. Each year, he makes dozens of public appearances in Canada and the United States. He says that helps him keep in touch with his audience.
You know, you got self-serve gas now. Nobody ever checks their oil. Like TV's a bit like that. Like we're driving around like with these big egos, like we know what's going on. Well, I drop that. What I do is I'm the dipstick.
It also means decorating the set with items the audience sends in.
He said this is a briefcase, tartan lining. This is a lure that a guy in Kitchener made, and he brought us in a couple of these. There's a kid who makes these walking sticks, and he's a little guy that does these, and we put them up on the set. I'm sure other people don't see them, but he sees them. You know, it's just another way of connecting, and it's a cheap way of decorating a set.
We're going to mount that reclining chair on a couple of pontoons we're going to make out of these home heating ducts.
The cast and crew will tape 13 episodes of the show this season, plus a Christmas special. Production in studio should wrap up by October. By about the second week of October. Now, they are still looking for studio audiences. If you are interested, they are taping the show on Wednesdays and Saturday nights. They do 2 tapings, one about 6 o'clock, one about 9 o'clock. Don't take my word for these exact times. Got a couple of call numbers you can call for full details. They have a local Toronto number, area code 416-777-9090, and then another office number at the SNS Productions, the company that produces the show. This is out of Burlington, area code 905-631-7450. You call those numbers, they can give you the exact schedule and times for the tapings, as well as get you information for the tickets. They are free, by the way, and as Steve Smith says, if you bring a friend, they're half price as well. Now, moving from that to a story about a man named Mike Filey. He's a local historian who's becoming a bit of a historic figure himself. He's documented Toronto's history for a number of years, got about 20 books on the subject under his belt. His latest one is about Sunnyside, and John Northcott took him for a walk along the boardwalk.
You know, history for me is a hometown thing. I'd have difficulty writing about Hamilton or Ottawa or any other Canadian city. But just set me loose on an old newspaper on Toronto and I can find all kinds of interesting stuff.
Mike Filey was born at Bloor and Bathurst some 50-odd years ago. In 1922, Toronto needed a place to cool off and play in the sunshine, so Sunnyside was built. A midway, hot dogs, beauty pageants, even an elaborate changing facility that still exists today. Only now it's being used as a restaurant. Then in 1925, the Sunnyside Natatorium was built, the largest outdoor swimming pool in the world at the time, officially called the Gus Ryder Pool, but locals call it something else.
It's one of those traditions. You know, why is it called the Danforth? I don't know. Is it the beach or the beaches? This, for anybody who knows anything about history, this is very much the Sunnyside tank.
The wooden boardwalk has rotted to be replaced with a modern plastic model. But the Palais Royal Dance Hall still exists.
And as you can see from the signs on the front of it, this is still a dance hall. There are still dances held here. Every weekend you can come down and you can actually hear music that people would have heard back in the 30s and 40s.
Eager to become a world-class city, in 1955, Toronto tore down Sunnyside. The wrecking company paid $300 for everything. In its place, highways. What Filey enjoys about Toronto's history is the immediacy.
A lot of things have happened in my lifetime, and you can't say that for European history. You go to England and they say that place was built in the year ... and you have to say, oh, really? Here, things like the Princess Gates or, I mean, even the Royal York Hotel is part of our history.
But even when the buildings are gone, Filey swears he can hear the laughter and music of another era, even at an old amusement park that is now a freeway. John Northcott, CBC Entertainment, Toronto.
And Ron from Front Street, right outside the Broadcast Center, where they just finished taping tonight's episode of Red Green. That's our wrap on entertainment.
Mike, I say you can never overplug the CBC. Tell me about the Red Green Christmas special.
If we don't do it, no one will do it. Fridays at 8:30, October 2nd is when it starts. The Christmas special, actually they're doing 2 versions of the Christmas special. There's going to be a half-hour version for the CBC and a full 1-hour version for the PBS stations that air the show. And they still have some exterior shooting to do. They wanted to guarantee that they can actually get snow, so they're going to be filming it up at CBC Yellowknife starting in November.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
It's time to switch gears and motor on over